What's up, guys? Eli the Ninja back again with another video. Today we are looking at yet again more Scrim gameplay. So we've actually got two of the most talked about teams right now. That's going to be Sentinels and Complexity. The reason these teams are talked about right now is because just recently Sentinels drops Spartan in a surprising manner. Whole community's shocked. I was shocked. I did not think Spartan was going to get dropped from this team. Yes, they underperformed at Arlington, but we all knew what they were capable of. Spartan also wasn't really feeling well, going through some health issues as he's made public on social media. But now, seen as of yesterday, Sentinels has been scrimming with Precision in place of Spartan. Now, Precision came from Complexity, and he leaves a hole in that roster if he does join Sentinels, which means Spartan has a place to go. So Spartan playing with Complexity. So Complexity scrimmed yesterday against another team, Shopify Rebellion. They were doing pretty well yesterday. Sentinels yesterday scrimmed against FaZe with Precision. And now they're scrimming each other. So this is just a very interesting thing to look at. Scrim's looking very close so far. This is literally happening right now as I'm recording this video. But we've got Spartan going up against his old team and Precision going against his old team. So taking a look at it so far, I mean, it's 6-4 in Sentinel's favor. So Precision, I guess, winning this one for now. But it's gone back and forth. Sentinels won the first four. Complexity wins on Argyle. Sentinels takes one back on Aquarius. Complexity win 3 in a row. So it's going back and forth right now. Slayers look to be pretty strongly on the side of Sentinels. They've actually won all 3 of the Slayers so far. So maybe Sentinels becoming a better Slayer team with the addition of Precision. But I mean, in my opinion, both these players are phenomenal. I mean, Precision, one of the most individually talented people we've ever seen in Halo. But you can say the same about Spartan. Spartan's just got a lot more experience. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to take a look at 2 of the games they've played so far. I'm honing in on this Streets Oddball game that Sentinels won. And then I want to take a look at this Argyle flag that Complexity won. So we'll take a look at both, see how both teams are performing. So already got the Streets ball game pulled up here. We're just going to jump into it. Now, both of these teams, in my opinion, 2 of the most organized teams that we have in HCS right now. They seem to have a game plan for just about every scenario. But when you trade out a player, now you've kind of got to go through a lot of that stuff. Again, granted, the meta has evolved to the point where, players could kind of just slot in on any team and already know for the most part what to do in every given situation. But there's still some amount of work that has to be done when you change a player out, right? So we're going to take a look at Precision's POV throughout this game. I'll try not to pause it too much because this is a pretty long oddball game. It did only go 2 rounds, but either way, let's take a look at how Precision is playing so far with this squad. So look at this, just very patient on this side. Interesting opening strat. They don't really push forward at all. I think what's really interesting about this scrim too is they kind of know each other's starting strats, right? Like Precision can just tell Sentinels what Complexity's goals are off the start, and Spartan can tell Complexity what Sentinels' goals are off the start. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic to be scrimming so close after swapping a player like this. But great early victory by Sentinels. They get firm control. Looks like Complexity makes a good push. Probably got the camo here as well. Or the camo player got traded out. It's hard to tell. But Precision, his namesake says a lot about him because he is one of the most precise players that we have seen. Shotgun not precise enough though to take out Huss. Yeah, they've got each other's playbook, so it's kind of an interesting dynamic. Take a look around a little bit here. So this is an interesting position where I think a lot of up and coming players, obviously not at the pro level, kind of struggle to know what to do. When you spawn up and the other team has control, what's the goal? And I like this play from Precision. He knows what Ryanoob is going for here. I'm assuming this could be Ryanoob on the stairs. Could be another member of Complexity. Yeah, it is Ryanoob, believe it or not. So it's so funny that this is just kind of how you see it. So he knows that Ryanoob's strategy when his team has the oddball at A is he pushes all the way out here to C, usually goes into Ivy, and his goal is to limit the amount of space that the other team can spawn at. So Precision, he's been on this guy's team before. He knows that this is the play. So his play after coming off spawn here, so he dies right here, right? He comes off spawn and immediately doubles back towards C because he knows that the reason he spawned here is because of a play like Ryanoob's. So his goal is actually to fight Ryanoob and kill him so that Ryanoob can't flank the push before it starts. So this is kind of like that having the other team's playbook where it comes into play. At the same time, this is also kind of the meta for the game type in general, but look at this. Ryanoob waits till Precision is out in the open. Precision's suspicions were correct, but he just wasn't able to identify where exactly Ryan was with the camo. Still get some good nades in, I guess. Did as much as he could to try to deal damage, but that kind of play just makes it so Complexity can hold the ball for a bit longer here. So in this position, Sentinels has to clear the space around their spawn first before they can even cross the map to A. Precision's got a call out about this weak player. Knows there's likely another player here. Push aggressively forward. And interesting right here, the way that Precision played this, I feel like he might have thought his teammates were moving faster because on Complexity, he makes the same play and Descendants right there with him flying into the open. Granted, I think that he might have to slow his pace just a little bit with this squad. They're a bit more meticulous with their movement. Precision, once again, trying to create openings for his team. So far been unsuccessful on this side. Wow, great shots here. Shots like that are why this guy is spotted and noticed. He's extremely precise. Slays out. It doesn't matter what the lobby is. Literally against some of the best in the world, Precision is always a force on the map. I mean, look at the accuracy on the shots here. Great AR damage there. A lot of players would just die or do no damage, but he finds windows of opportunity to continually deal damage for his team. His reticle placement's unreal. So it was a hard battle, but looks like Sentinels do finally get control of the map for the most part. Both teams are still fighting for it though. Precision just walks into a grenade. Fast forward a little bit here. And the movement on this guy is also very precise. He's always hitting curb slides, dealing damage. This game type is one of the probably most stressful game types for the pros to play because, I mean, in a lobby full of accurate shooters and fast movement players, like you are pretty much spawning into a fight at a very high frequency. So you just have to be prepared. Now, very interesting. Complexity don't push B at all, and they're going to pay for it. Looks like they were just fighting for camo, but they just let Precision get behind them. So, I mean, good heads-up awareness by Precision to just completely wrap around that play. And now he crosses all the way to purple side. And look at the grenade. This guy just knows how to frag out. Fairly unpredictable with good reticle placement. It's a very tough combination to fight against. Get off of this spawn. He knows that these guys are on their way. Lexi do a good job of sending multiple members on this side. Shut him down pretty quick. Boo gets jumped in the red room. Enemy has the ball. And Sentinels lose. So this is a really interesting part right here, okay? If you're in matchmaking right here, this is where you hear a teammate say, this is our last push. So if Sentinels fails this push, it's it's very likely that Complexity wins the round. Now, they do have a lot of time. It's still 40 seconds, but if they start to stagger right now, they could potentially stagger for the rest of the round, which will give Complexity the win for this round. So they have to be very disciplined or get an early pick. So here he's pushing up. It looks like Lethal actually the first one to die in the engagement, but Lethal also has the knowledge with his death cam to tell his teammates how many are still on this side. Lethal probably knows there's at least 2 over here. So I'm thinking that maybe while Precision fights the whole team, maybe his teammates behind him go and fight the oddball player. And yes, that's exactly what happens. Falcated and Boo Boo go straight to the oddball player. Precision just kind of holds these guys in place for long enough for Falcated and Boo Boo to kill that player. Complexity kind of being punished here for overextending during that play. Like, yes, you want to play aggressive towards the spawners, but you don't want to do it so drastically that you leave your oddball carrier to die in a 2v1 like that. But these guys are very much going to be, you know, testing the waters with their new fourths. They're going to be talking about these different situations in scrims. Probably going to watch this video as well. Precision wins a big fight against Huss and was predicting the spawn on this guy PD, but turns the opposite way. Kind of the second time that he had a good instinctual guess of where to look next, but then like something changed and he stopped looking this way. So he's got good instincts about the spawn system.
Enemy has the ball.
And this is the actual last push now. If Sentinels do not win this break, then the round is probably over.
Enemy team nearing victory.
Wow, look at the perfect shots with the D-scope battle. Took a little bit of grenade damage, so his shields are going to be slow. Gets this player 1 shot, so he gets basically 1.5 kills. At the same time, Boo Boo and Falcated, once again, they just duo up and go kill the ball carrier. Precision off this spawn, basically spawns in an L shape with his team. That's why he looks across. There's so many times that you spawn in this position, essentially into a 1v1 with another player that spawned on caution. That's why he just kind of gathers his footing. Looks that way for a moment. Boo Boo has camo here. Look at the patience from Boo Boo. So smart to wait for that player to cross before revealing himself. And the rest of Sentinels just come charging in. So Sparty only needs a few seconds, but decides to drop the ball here and plays it out. Precision's going to say, okay, I'll take that. And now if they can just kill this player, I think they should be able to hold the ball for quite a while. Okay, now they just have to hold off the spawners. Boo Boo's calling them out. Sentinels has 1 dead player. That player is now respawned at Red Room. So when that player spawns Red Room, it's further evidence for Sentinels to know that the opponents are likely to be pushing at Purple side. I want you to guys just see this real quick. This comes up in my coaching sessions a lot. But based on your exact spawn point, especially on a map like this, you can deduce roughly which side the other team is pushing from. So in this exact moment, when their teammate spawns in red, after this player dies at the stairs, which player is this that spawns in Red Room? It's Falcated. Falcated knows that the other team is likely pushing Purple side because the way the spawn system works, it tries to spawn you as far away from opposition as possible. If the opposition had spawned on PD, for example, and started to walk up this way, then instead the game would have chosen to place Falcated in Ivy. But because he spawns here, he has the awareness to know that they're likely Purple. So he's just going to walk forward and check across. So he immediately checks it because he just understands that's how the spawn system works. And you can tell he's not worried at all about getting a shot from PD because he knows that the reason he spawned here is because they must be Purple. And all he has to do is keep the opposition from getting to his ball carrier for the next 15 seconds. He does then rotate backwards after not seeing anyone for a while. He knows that if they did spawn Purple, they've now decided to double back and rotate back. So with that awareness, rotates as well. Sets up a sticky play. As long as he trades this play out, this is massive for his team. Lethal ball carrier. Just going to hold on to the oddball. Needs to hold it for 5 more seconds, though. And Precision actually gets a huge double kill right now. Yeah, I love this positioning from Precision. I mean, this is a pretty common position in the meta right now. In this play, you have your team in in C, you know the other team has to push it. Just sit behind them at the benches, just denies any opportunity for them to get in, kill the ball carrier. So
Round 1.
Precision already kind of slotting into the team. We saw a couple times that it looked like maybe he was moving a bit faster than his teammates' pace. So we'll have to see how he adjusts as time goes on. I think he will be adjusting his pace just a little bit, because honestly, on that complexity roster, there's times that he himself and Huss, or himself and Descendant usually, and even Rhinoob can move very fast as well. He's just not really known in that respect. But there's times that on that squad, Precision would be full steam ahead and have support from teammates. But with this roster, I feel like they're just a little bit more meticulous about their movements and maybe don't just launch their bodies into the fight as frequently. Okay, good win here by Sentinels early. Toss the ball out to Precision so the camo player can make a play. Notice the soccer isn't getting played off the start both rounds. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I feel like it should be, but the problem is, like, it's kind of risky to go for it. Like, you could just die to grenades when you can maybe secure the oddball and maintain good map positioning to fight for camo. But the soccer's still very good. They could be 2 perp and 1 tires. That's a good point, Tetrify. But based on the timing of that situation, like I think they know that only 2 had spawned so far at the time that Falcata had spawned. So if there was maybe 3 that had already spawned, then maybe he doesn't, you know, just push to B-rail without thinking he's going to be shot in the back. Because at that point, you have to assume that maybe the first spawner moved laterally, which in the meta is usually what they'll do. First spawner will move laterally to try to take space on the other side, make sure that nobody's flanking before pushing up. Okay, a lot of deaths on both sides here. Precision moving so fast that he runs into his own grenade in this case. He wanted that grenade to bounce off the staircase and get to Cafe to cover one side of himself while he fought the other side, but just barely missed. Was not quite precise enough with that grenade in that moment. All good though. Here's the footsteps. Knows there's a guy here. That player knows that he's here though. Gets assassinated. I got you, Caleb. Yeah, this is a tough map for most people, I feel like. But watching the pros, you can learn a lot. If you guys ever want to get better, like, when you watch a pro player, you shouldn't just watch to, like, be in awe at how straight they shoot or, like, the cool clips they hit or whatever. Like, approach it in a studious manner. Ask why do they do the certain things they do. Like, the most important things to pay attention to are what routes do they take off of their spawn? And like, where are their teammates in those moments? So like, think about why they take the routes that they take off of their spawn. And it's usually to fight for a certain map space or to get an angle for their team. And that's the way you have to think about the game, is like, your team always has certain sight lines. If you can fill the gap of the other sight lines they can't see, then there's really not much of the map that you don't have information about. And that's how you become a good player. You just look at the situation and know how to fill in the gaps that your teammates need the most.
Ball dropped.
Okay. Precision gets damage in 3 players before dying. See if he gets 3 assists. He gets 2. The other player got his shields back. Either way, massive damage output so far from Precision. What's up, Big? We're recording a little YouTube video spying on the Complexity and Sentinels scrims right now. Thanks for the follow, Corey. Okay, right here, he's keeping an eye on what's going on with Falcated, see if he needs help. So trying to maintain some positioning over here on B-rail. Heard that player. Teammate cleans up the kill, though. Ethel's fighting a guy back C, but he's going to actually stay here Love this shroud play by this player here. Who is this? Ryan Noob looks like. And we see some body disrespect in the scrim already. Former teammate Precision shooting Ryan Noob's body.
We have the ball.
Maybe saying, hey, we might have been, I mean, I imagine there shouldn't be much bad blood, though. Oh, Big, you've been living under a rock, bro. Sparty got dropped from Sentinels for Precision. Precision on Sentinels now. Allegedly. I mean, they've been scrimming the last 2 days, and now Sparty is taking Precision's place on Complexity. And this round has been so far dominated by Sentinels. And when you spawn close to the action like this, you might as well just take the fastest route. I like that Precision's watching the outside, though, because he's more focused on the spawners. So if Precision can kill a spawner or two or get them weak on their way to the fight, his teammates are going to have an easier time in the actual fight. This play makes a lot of sense right there. No sense in sending all 4 players, you know, the same way and looking at the same things, right? Like, you've got to make sure you've got a nice spread of sight lines, approach angles. Precision sees an opening, goes right through it. He gets heavily grenaded, though. Great grenades coming in from Complexity here. It is very interesting for them to be scrimming so close to, so shortly after the team changes, right? Okay, Precision takes a route through bottom middle. Look at the confidence that he takes those, like, peak shot battles. I feel like there's certain players are just so confident in those fights, they just think they're always going to win that fight, so they always take it. And look at that, he just cleans up the rest of the squad. Granted, he had help, but the confidence to just 1v1 Sparty in a little jiggle peek fight around the palms. He is very comfortable with the jiggle peek, and I feel like now that we're in the new network model, the jiggle peek meta is like even better than it was before. So I think the network update was a silent buff to players that are good at jiggle peeking, because it's just very difficult to shoot a player that's jiggle peeking now. I feel like the aim assist like pulls your reticle into the wall that they're jiggling behind, and it just makes it so hard to even land a shot on that player. You were hanging this leftover Sketty's in, right? Let's go. Yo, thanks for the follow, Valkyrie. I turned off the alerts just for the YouTube video that we're recording right now. All right, so that was a game won by Precision under the new Sentinels banner, allegedly. Nothing's official yet, but I mean, they've been scrimming on main on these accounts, so it looks likely that the team change, like the swap, is happening. And we're going to jump into a game now that we can watch Sparty. So let's see how Sparty's playing with Complexity, having now filled in the spot that Precision left behind. So I already scouted these games. I know what happens here, but it shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody that Sparty plays with a little bit of extra fire against his former teammates. I feel like he's a very passionate player, and when somebody does him wrong, it kind of like supercharges him to become an even better player. We've seen this time after time through HCS history, that whenever Sparty gets dropped, you better watch the fuck out for him in the next tournament. So going into Argyle, Sparty's going to get the sniper off the rip. It's kind of easy for Complexity, I think, to just slot in Sparty because Precision was their sniper. So now, you know, Sparty just picks up the same position that Precision used to play. And look at that. He actually outsnipes Precision in that moment. I think he just played his positioning a little bit better. Precision maybe overextending in that moment. He's going to push up to the vent here. And look at the aggression from Complexity. Look at the double headshot. Dude, this guy is ready to take on his former teammates. Probably also knows exactly what routes they want to take, knows where they're spawning. Make it another one. Descendant has the other sniper, by the way, and goes a little bit rogue there. I don't know if Sparty knows his player's behind him. He does now. Finally, they take out Sparty, but that was a very impressive life to get started. Let's see if he's gonna get that sniper back. I think, looks like he's gonna go for it. Knows that Ryan Noob probably didn't grab it. He does see it there. Yep, gets the sniper right back. Still has 4 bullets to work with, by the way. I think he turned all 4 of his first bullets into kills. He's now 5 for 5. Granted, one of them was an assist. Okay, finally misses a shot. And he does get taken out in that moment. Maybe overheated a little bit, but he is definitely on fire this game. All right, and there's really not much more of this game. So they've already got the flag out. The Sentinels flag is on the Complexity side of the map. Sparty finding a sneaky spot here. Huge trade out with Boo Boo, who potentially could have sniped the carrier as he went in. I think Boo Boo did have a little bit of snipe ammo there. But it looks like this flag should go home. Yep, finally does. And what happens here? Team shot coming out. Great grenade there. Player has nowhere to go. Sparty just kind of predicting Falcated to re-peek there. There's something to be said about like playing with the same players for so long. You start to understand their habits. You know what they're going to go for. You know what their goals are. They've sat beside each other so many times. And now 2 members of Sentinels in the Complexity base. Sparty finds the sniper though. This is the sniper that spawned at the 9:30 mark. He's going to rotate all the way through the back of the base. And knows this player is still hiding here. One shot. Boo Boo tries to go for the ghost jump. Tries to throw him off. Was maybe bought himself an extra shot in the fight, but he was already weak. And look at this. Huss just finds a route with the flag. He's already home with it. And it looks like he just snuck it right under the nose of the other team. And look at that. Just a 4-minute Argyle CTF. What's so crazy about the meta right now is we're seeing so many more of these games end so quickly. I feel like we never saw Argyle games end 3-0, but we saw a 3-0 in 1 minute and 30 seconds in the last online tournament. We've seen Forbidden end 3-0 very fast as well. Probably more often than Argyle, but CTF in general becoming kind of a solved game, right? Like all it takes is these pro teams to get maybe 2 dead, and they're going to convert that into a flag cap at a very high frequency because it's easy to predict the spawns. The players know where those last 2 players are. They're just going to apply pressure to them so the flag runner can keep moving. And it's just getting harder and harder to win CTF games. It feels like, well, easier for some teams. SSG looking incredible. But I mean, if you hit a lot of snipe headshots and just delete people off the map, that's usually a recipe for some fast flag runs. So, but wow, guys. That was our first look at the new Sentinels roster and the new Complexity roster as they played against each other in scrims. There's still a lot more to look at with these guys. When we first looked at the scrim, it was very close. I'll have to double check the score, but yeah, this seems like an interesting move, right? Both players pretty similar. I think Sparty's got a lot more experience. That maybe in that way you've got to maybe give him the edge, but Sentinels just wanted a team change, and this is the one they made. So very curious to see how these teams play in the future. Obviously, the new Sentinels roster are going to have to play on Sunday in the first open qualifier because they finished top 16 at Arlington. So they're going to have to start accumulating points leading up to London. So we'll get to see them in tournament play here in just a couple days. And then we'll have to see if Complexity decide to play. They did finish top 6, so they're not required to play in the open. But with a new player, I kind of expect them to because they want to get more reps in. They want to get tournament experience in with Sparty on their team and start working out the kinks with the new roster because they've really got a lot of strategy stuff to figure out. But cannot be more excited to see these 2 teams play. 2 of my favorite teams, by the way, some of my favorite players. So I can't really be biased one way or the other, but both teams going to be very scary for the rest of the season. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.